The story kicks off at the annual China-Korea Summit in China, where a woman named Sung-hee is working as a translator for conversations between ministers from both countries. During the break, everyone praises Sung-hee for her work, and she appears happy. However, behind the scenes, it's actually Sung-hee's first day on the job, and she's feeling quite nervous. To calm her nerves, she heads to the bathroom. Suddenly, she receives a call from her uncle, Jang Bae, who reveals that he has finally found the person she has been searching for over the past 10 years. Upon hearing this news, Sung-hee's nervousness quickly turns into excitement, prompting her to leave the important summit and head to the airport. The next scene takes us back to 1993 in Incheon, Korea. Jang Bae and Do-suk, two retired army officers working as debt collectors for a finance company, are strolling down the street. They have no family to call their own, so they continue living together even after their army days. Do-suk is the more assertive of the two, while Jang Bae is content to follow orders. They encounter one of their clients, Mingja, along with her 9-year-old daughter, Sung-hee. Mingja, who hasn't repaid the duo's money for the past 2 months, tries to run away upon seeing them but is quickly caught by Do-suk. He interrogates her, asking for the $750 she borrowed 2 months ago. Mingja, feeling overwhelmed and out of sorts, explains that her delay is due to her husband's recent death. She promises to repay the money the next month. Upon hearing the news, Do-suk forcefully takes Mingja's little daughter, making it clear that he will only release her once the full amount is paid. In essence, Do-suk uses the young Sung-hee as leverage. As the little girl is being taken away, she cries out for her mother, but no one in the crowd steps forward to intervene. Even Mingja, albeit reluctantly, watches without taking action, as if something is holding her back. After this incident, Mingja goes to the shop where her husband used to work, hoping to ask for some financial help. However, the owner not only refuses but also berates her, highlighting her illegal status in the country. It is then revealed that Mingja is a Chinese native who entered South Korea illegally in pursuit of a better life. The owner adds insult to injury by informing her that her husband has left her for someone else and suggests that she should do the same. Meanwhile, little Sung-hee, still crying inside the car, is handed a toy by Do-suk in an attempt to comfort her. However, the little girl continues crying, longing for her mother. On the other side, Mingja, desperate for help, walks to a phone booth and calls someone for assistance. The person on the other end provides comfort and promises to send money. Excited by this prospect, Mingja immediately calls Do-suk to inform him that she'll be able to return the money the next day. As she exits the booth, 2 officers arrive and arrest her on the grounds of being an illegal immigrant. In the next scene, Do-suk provides the little girl with a room to sleep in his place. Jang Bae expresses concern about what might happen if Mingja goes to the police, but Do-suk is confident that she won't, given her illegal status in Korea. The following day, Do-suk and Jang Bae head to their office and face a scolding from their boss for kidnapping the girl. The angry boss instructs them to promptly return the girl and collect the money. As the duo escorts the little girl back to her mother, they get caught in a traffic jam. Sensing an opportunity, Sung-hee opens the car and escapes. Despite their best efforts, Do-suk and Jang Bae are unable to catch her, and she eventually slips away. The little Sung-hee walks to her house with only one shoe, only to find her mother absent. In the next scene, Do-suk goes to the police station where Mingja is being held. Mingja reveals that she is being deported back to China. When asked about the money, she gives Do-suk the number of Sung-hee's uncle, Choi, stating that he will settle the debt and take care of the girl. Before leaving, Mingja hands Do-suk a pager along with a photo of herself with Sung-hee. Meanwhile, Sung-hee packs her belongings and leaves a message in the house that reads, "I'll find you, Mom." After a while, Do-suk arrives at the house in search of her but can only find the note. On the other hand, Sung-hee wanders through the city in search of her mother, unaware that her mother has not only left the city but also the entire country. As day turns into night, she continues her search. Suddenly, a drunk man tries to kidnap her, but Do-suk arrives just in time to intervene and scare the man away. He then informs the little girl that her mother has left Korea, leading her to burst into tears. Witnessing her distress, Do-suk pities Sung-yi and takes her back to his place while they wait for her uncle to arrive. As time passes, we see Sung-yi becoming more comfortable and at ease with Do-suk and Jang-bae. One day, Sung-yi's uncle calls Do-suk and informs him that he'll be picking up Sung-yi the next day. As the departure time approaches, the trio grows even closer to Sung-yi. They decide to go out and buy her a new dress. That night, Jang-bae surprises her with a candlelit cake to mark her farewell, but Sung-yi appears sad as she doesn't want to leave them. The following day, Do-suk and Sung-yi accompany her to the bus stop to meet her uncle. Do-suk gives Sung-yi a pager, instructing her to send a message if she's in trouble. He also buys her a CD player so she can listen to songs by her favorite artists. Overjoyed with the gift, Sung-yi hugs Do-suk. Just then, Sung-yi's uncle, Choi Byung-dal, arrives and introduces himself. Choi claims to have met the little girl before but can't recall her name, and Sung-yi is also unfamiliar with her uncle. Choi pays off the debt and takes Sung-yi with him, but both Do-suk and Sung-yi seem unhappy about their separation. In the next scene, Do-suk finds it difficult to concentrate on his daily routine as he misses Sung-yi tremendously. Jang-bae suggests that he send Sung-yi a message, but Do-suk pretends to be okay. Eventually, he musters the courage to message her, but he receives no reply. Worried, he calls Choi's home, but his wife hangs up, claiming her husband is unavailable. Suspecting something amiss, Do-suk tracks down Choi's address and goes there to confront him. At Choi's place, Do-suk finds the older man drunk. Initially, Choi insists that Sung-yi is living with a good family, but when Do-suk pressures him, he finally admits that he sold Sung-yi for a mere 300. Frustratingly, Choi is unable to provide information about where the little girl is staying. An angry Do-suk leaves, but not without taking Sung-yi's backpack with him. In the next scene, we witness a woman waking up in a state of intoxication, asking for water. Sung-yi, seemingly in a bar, responds by bringing her water. The woman, the bar's owner, orders Sung-yi to perform various tasks like cleaning the room, toilet, and dishes. Despite the hard work, the little girl remains silent, diligently carrying out her duties. Later, Sung-yi sneaks into her room, takes a phone, and leaves a message for her mother, urging her to come soon. Meanwhile, Do-suk discovers the pager inside Sung-yi's backpack and receives her message. He promptly replies, sharing his number but forgets to include the area code. Consequently, when Sung-yi tries to connect with him upon receiving the message, she faces difficulty. In the bar, a drunk man throws a glass against the wall, accidentally injuring Sung-yi nearby. Instead of taking her to the hospital, the bar owner simply covers up the injury with makeup. Meanwhile, Do-suk realizes his mistake in forgetting the area code. He leaves another message and patiently waits for the call. After some time, Sung-yi returns his call, crying, and reveals her location in Busan. Concerned, Do-suk promises to come for her and immediately heads out. When Do-suk and Jang-bae arrive at the bar, they are shocked to see Sung-yi's condition. Without hesitation, Do-suk breaks the door, rescues the little girl, and she tightly hugs him. He then confronts the owner, grabbing her by the neck, and decides to compensate her to reclaim Sung-yi. After the incident, Do-suk takes Sung-yi to the hospital, even going so far as to sell his car to cover the expenses. Once she's healed, Do-suk attempts to enroll her in school, but the principal rejects her due to not being a Korean citizen. Faced with no other option, Do-suk decides to adopt Sung-yi, becoming her legal father. Subsequently, Sung-yi begins living a more ordinary life, attending school regularly and excelling in her studies. As time passes, the once little girl matures into an adult. Sung-yi is now a college student majoring in Chinese. One evening, Do-suk arrives at the school gate on his motorcycle to pick her up. Simultaneously, Sung-yi's mother appears but leaves without meeting her upon discovering that her daughter is living a happy life. In the next scene, Do-suk grows concerned when Sung-yi fails to return home on time one night. Anxiously waiting, a man drops Sung-yi home, carrying her on his back because she's drunk. Do-suk and Jang Bae interview the man and discover that he is a good person who will soon become a doctor. At that moment, Do-suk receives a call from Sung-yi's grandmother, urging him to visit Sung-yi's mother, who is seriously ill. Without hesitation, Do-suk and Sung-yi take a flight to China to meet Mingja. When Sung-yi finally reunites with her mother, they both cry while embracing each other. Mingja expresses her gratitude to Do-suk for taking good care of her daughter. Do-suk also learns that Mingja has only a few days left to live. Upon returning home, Sung-yi notices Do-suk's worn-out shoes and decides to buy him a new pair. She starts working at a factory, lying to Do-suk that she's going on a school trip. Eventually, she collects enough money to purchase a new pair of shoes for him. While Do-suk is on the quest to find Sung-yi's father, he experiences a sharp pain in his head. Brushing it off, he continues the search and eventually locates Sung-yi's father. However, he discovers that the man is already married to someone else and has a child. Despite this, Do-suk keeps his promise and facilitates a reconciliation between Sung-yi and her estranged father. As Sung-yi converses with her biological father, Do-suk returns home, initially thinking that she might leave with her father. However, his delight knows no bounds when he receives a phone call from Sung-yi, addressing him as Dad for the first time. She asks why he left her and requests him to pick her up from the same location. Do-suk happily agrees and sets out, but on the way, he becomes dizzy and falls off his running motorcycle. Unaware of the situation, Sung-yi keeps waiting. The movie then shifts back to the present, where Sung-yi is in the car with Jang Bae. They have been searching for Do-suk for the past 10 years and head to the supposed location where he is kept. Unfortunately, they are devastated to find that the person there is not the same. On their way back, Sung-yi notices a familiar board from her childhood and suggests inquiring at the police station. After some investigation, the police reveal that a man named Park Sung-bo is held at a mental institution. Rushing to the place, they discover that Do-suk is suffering from a neurological disease. He can't speak but only writes 2 words in his diary, Park Sung-bo, and Pawn. Therefore they decide to give him temporary name Park Sung-bo. Led by a worker, they finally meet Do-suk after 10 years. Although he doesn't recognize them, Do-suk, now old, still has Sung-yi's CD player with him. As Sung-yi prepares to present him with the shoes she bought 10 years earlier, she learns that Do-suk had been saving up for her future. This revelation brings her to tears. She hugs her father tightly, promising to take care of him. The movie concludes with Do-suk crying tears of joy, indicating that he finally remembers his long-lost daughter.